Well, hello and welcome to Business Today TV. I am Chetan Bhutani. Well, we are at the drive of EQS SUV in Hyderabad at the Falak Numa Palace, a very grand property where a traditional history meets grand opulence and, of course, luxury with modern tech. Well, before we start with the coverage of the SUV and the insightful review that I'm going to give you, first we're going to go to the deep history of how really the manufacturing of vehicles started, how really the concept of modern or traditional, to say so, automobile and the cars started. And today, before I give you that, I'm going to invite Santosh Iyer, the CEO of Mercedes-Benz India, who's coming on a horse carriage, the way auto industry actually started and began its roots from. Thank you, Santosh. Hi, good to see you. Well, this is really what the history is all about, and this is how the traditional automobile started and the modern history of automobile industry began. Thank you, Santosh, for joining us.
Thanks for having
How
me.
did it feel going back to the history of a horse carriage where the whole industry of auto began?
So it's a lovely property, Taj Falak Numa Palace, iconic in sense, and there is a lot of history. We clearly also feel that, luxury comes from the history and the heritage as well. So I think that's the reason we are here. But yes, coming back to the horse carriages, this is what consumers used to do for mobility before 1886. And after 1886 is where we invented the car. We actually replaced the horses with the engine, the first engine there. And then this was driven on public roads, and that's how cars got invented. So, at that time, if you go to customers and ask them, what do you want? They would have said, I want faster horse carriages. Nobody would have said a car. But it was Bertha Benz, wife of Carl Benz, who really was a pioneer, who really took it out against all odds. And today, here we are in the automotive industry, selling cars and looking into the future of cars with electric.
Of course, let's shift our focus there and take a walk because you mentioned about the history with the horse carriage. And I'm going to invite you on the stage with the EQS SUV. So there we are, selling cars for modern people and of course to a select audience. EQS SUV 100% made in India. Tell us about this, and it was kept as a kind of a surprise for everybody.
Yeah.
What was the rationale behind that?
So Chetan, see what happened is 18 months back when we introduced the EQS sedan, the first locally produced EV in India in a luxury segment. That time we got customer feedback saying that we need a bit bigger car if possible on an EV. Why don't you get a 7-seater maybe in an EV? And we kickstarted the discussions. So this car is made in the US in Tuscaloosa plant. So we discussed with them and then we said that let's get this car to India. If we get it as a CBU, the price point will be close to 2 crores again. So we said that we need to localize it, and therefore we took that decision 18 months back to localize the second car. Let me talk about EQS. It has a dream run, 500 odd cars in the last 18 months, almost a car a day, you can say. So I think that car has done its, quite justice and opened up the segment. But now it's time that a bigger car maybe also as an option to customer, because today 55% of our sales are SUVs. So, with only a sedan in the portfolio, maybe we are not taking care of all the customer needs. That's why we have an SUV as well.
So, if I speak to you about this car and, the Tuscaloosa plant you mentioned in the United States, I want to ask you what really inspired the shift from what was the global management thinking about, because this is the first car outside of the US to be manufactured in India. So what was the thinking of the global management there?
So I think we are fully committed to the Indian market to start with, and we also believe there is no luxury without sustainability. And if Indian car market has to grow from 4 million to 10 million cars, and Mercedes-Benz also part of that growth, we need to be clear that we have to decarbonize in India. There is a clear government focus also to decarbonize, and what can we do? So I think the entire colleagues back in Stuttgart as well as in the plant, they were all committed that if we feel in India that there is a potential for this car, and why don't we also introduce, I would say 85% of our sales are all in the top end, more than 70-80 lakhs. 25% of our sales are more than 1 crore cars. So it makes sense that we get our top end customers the best in the world, and we localize and give them at the right price point.
Also, you mentioned that had it been manufactured in the United States, this would probably have costed us about 2 crore rupees. Now we are at 1.4, 1.3
yeah,
crores.
1.41.
1.41. So, localization helps a car cost reduced by 60 lakhs. Could you tell us how this localization helps in reducing about 60 lakh rupees?
So the major driver is of course import duty, right? There is import duty on cars, so CBU cars have close to 100% duties, and therefore that's a substantial portion going to the duty. Whereas the moment I localize, the duties are only 15 to 20% depending on SKD and engine, battery, powertrain. I think that really helps the cost down. And then of course we have to get the kits assembled here, but I think we are 30 years in India, 15 years in Chakan plant. We have a very good supplier ecosystem in and around us, so we are able to get this car from our different components developed locally and also get it from them. That really helps to get the price point. It's not it would have been, I would say, not a 60 lakh difference, but at least 20-25 lakhs you can really get out of some of these cars.
Also, you actually started a very nice thing of direct to consumer when it comes to retail dealerships. A lot of conversations have begun if Mercedes existing dealerships would be shutting down or would be having any issues as far as that. So, is everything okay?
I would say this month we complete 3 years of retail of the future. We have done more than 50,000 cars in this. Our dealers are the most profitable in India as well. And the other success factor is not only India. Today this model has been taken to Germany, UK, Australia, many markets. So that clearly shows the success of the model, and the dealers love it, because what is happening in the Indian car market? There is a lot of stock pressure, right? That's what you read, that everybody is pushing. For our dealers, there is no stock and they are happy. So I think this is a misnomer that dealers won't exist. We have made it very clear that dealer is our real point of contact with customer, because they need to service the car, they need to take care of the customer and the experience. All that we have done is taken away the negotiation hassle and stock, which was actually banks were making money with the stock and customer was not getting the best price for the car. So I think we have taken the pain points and we have put the focus on customer experience.
What are the key features that you would like to highlight for the consumers?
So firstly, EV, first question comes is range. Today, so with a 122 kilowatt hour pack, on one side we have performance 0 to 100 in 4.7 seconds odd. On the other side, range and ARAI certified range of 809 kilometers. Let's say real world will be 650, 700 odd kilometers, which is I think fantastic for a car of this size and segment. Second is, comfort for drive. There is rear axle steering. So in terms of equipment, we have given everything that's possible in the car. So it's again a fully equipped car. The third row seat, I won't say is the big highlight, but on the other side, India has large families, and they travel with sometimes their house help, sometimes they travel with pets or kids at times, and I think it's a very utilitarian feature for that weekend drive or something that you need to have. But otherwise, it's a spacious, luxurious car as any of our combustion engine counterparts, but with an electrified powertrain. Also, to mitigate the customer, I would say, dissonance, ki battery ka kya hoga, what is the life, we are giving 10 years battery warranty on this car, a residual value guarantee of 60% at the end of 3 years. So, apart from all the technical features, hyper screen, I think there is a lot of content, and quite proud to present now in India.
And what is the big message that Mercedes-Benz India would like to give to its consumers in India, that we have arrived in India and we are fully committed, because such developments do send out a message. So, I would like to know from you, what is the message that you are going to give it to the Indian audiences and your future potential customers on manufacturing in India?
So see, 3 months, 3 EVs to start with. We started with EQA, then the EQS SUV Maybach, and now the EQS SUV, a car locally produced in India. Clear statement of intent, there is no luxury without sustainability. There is nobody telling us that we need EVs, right? There is no target for us from the government or from stakeholders that we have to. But I think as responsible corporate citizens, if we want to decarbonize the Indian auto industry and also have our fair share in ensuring emission-free mobility, we need to be on this agenda. We have the combustion engines, we have everything, but today I think we have to offer the right options to customer and then let the customer decide in terms of transformation. So messaging wise, we are all into the market and we keep challenging the market. We set new benchmarks, and that's what we continue.
So I'll of course ask you on that. You mentioned about challenging the market. I want to ask you about the strategy behind being so product offensive. We have been seeing a launch every month. This is what you promised and this is what you've delivered. If I ask you about your competition, your rivals, we have not seen much developments there. Although soft developments do happen, but you are really on an offensive. What's the thinking behind that product offense?
I think, see, firstly, luxury starts where necessity ends. So it's a purchase which is a bit irrational. Consumers want the latest. They want something new many a times. And I think we are quite happy and proud to be part of an organization where engineers in Stuttgart make these beautiful machines, and we have a range. Now, of course, it's not that easy that if you have a car in Germany, we can get this in India. We need to really work on it in terms of the total case, also localizing some of the, we make 11 cars in Chakan now. This is the 11th one that we are producing in Chakan. So a lot of complexity, but on the other side, I think my colleagues trust India. We call it strategic patience in a long-term view, not a short-term view. And with that long-term view, I think we want to excite the market continuously. Even this car, you know, you started saying you kept it under wraps because we were not sure can we get it for the festive season. My colleagues back in production, they really worked hard to get this car out on time. And now the next car, which is a new E-Class, you know, we have announced that we will launch this car on 9th October. Again, to get that car for the festive season to ensure. So I think we are I'm quite proud of the team. We keep challenging us and we try to get more and more options to customers. That's all about luxury.
And how much volumes are you thinking would this add to your festive growth?
See, for me, of course, on the festive overall volumes, because, you know, we are aiming at double-digit growth this year, and I am sure this is one of the catalysts to get the double-digit growth. But if the sedan could do 500 odd cars in 18 months, I think the SUV, which is generally much higher than sedans, should also do even better than what the sedan counterparts have done. The response for the EQS SUV Maybach, same car Maybach, I would say we have already 50 cars booked in first 1 week, and I would say that by end of this week or 2 weeks we will be done with that car for the year.
Okay, I have to interject here. I want to ask you that, you know, what is happening? I mean, within a week you get a cars booking, 50 cars bookings worth 2 crores plus car.
Yeah.
What is this fan base that's happening? I mean, are people splurging into luxury? What is the rationale? What do you think are the consumers thinking?
It's very clear. It's a Maybach, and as a Maybach, you know, an electric Maybach, they would love to have the green number plate and show that the consumers would love to use it. And the car is out. You saw the car; it's brilliant. So I think the value proposition itself of a Maybach at that price point, and also the electrification. So I think there is a lot of pioneering spirit among customers who want to be the first, who want to be seen in such a car. And I think that's what luxury is all about. End of the day, you know, are you able to give the latest in technology, the latest in the trends? Because they are image leaders. You know, most of our customers are image leaders. People look up to them on what they consume, what are they doing, and that's why it's our responsibility to get the latest and the best as early as possible.
And right before I let you go, I want to ask you that this year is ending. You know, we have the E-Class long base vehicle that's coming up. That will, of course, you know, change the way sedans are driven in India, I'm sure. But you know, there's a discussion that's also going on that will Mercedes-Benz continue its product offensive in the next year? What's the strategy going forward?
So broadly, I think whatever is possible in terms of exciting the market, we continue. So right now the teams are already working for next year in terms of the product. And of course, whatever latest, we don't want, our entire team's effort is to reduce the lead time to the market. If there is a global product, how soon can we get into India?
Okay, so you mean to say that there's already a planning and execution, production
already for next year.
Might have started for next year as well?
As I said, this car we planned when we launched the EQS sedan 18 months back. So because, you know, it takes a lot of time for factories, production capability, vendors to be developed. So cars are, I keep saying, steering an automotive company is like, you know, a ship, a captain of a ship. You steer it in one direction, it starts going there. If you want to even change the course, it takes time. So, but that's about our industry, you know, supply chain, challenges, complexity. But that's our job, and trying to manage all of this and then still give to the customer the best car at the best price with the best value.
Well, Santosh, thank you so much for joining us at Business Today Television.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Candid as always, Santosh is speaking his heart out as to the best strategy is to, when a global product comes, and see how soon it can come into India. Well, camera person Abhishek Kumar Singh in Hyderabad from Falaknuma Palace. This is Chetan Bhutani for Business Today Television.